Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and a very good afternoon. I get to the honorable madam speakers, distinguished fellow students, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, I'd like to welcome you all to this prestigious forum, and the topic of our forum is to use or not to use code mixing. The area that will be covered by the panelists is causes of using code mixing in English language. So code mixing is a social-linguistic phenomenon which is frequent among bilingual or multilingual communities, including Malaysia. This appearance can be seen majorly in social medias and among students. And the pros and cons of code mixing is still in an arguable position among Malaysians themselves. In this occasion, we shall have our outstanding presentations from our prominent panelists to share their thoughts about this topic of code mixing. So before the presentations begin, allow me to introduce myself and the beautiful panelists. I am Nurfara Shamir binti Mama Azim, and I will be your forum moderator for the day. Our first panelist is Miss Siti Aisa binti Omar. She is a social linguist. She is also a lecturer in social linguistics at University of Bangsa and Malaysia. She is currently studying a PhD in applied linguistics at University Putra Malaysia. Thank you, Doctor, for your time to be here with us in this forum. How are you today, Doctor? Our second panelist is Miss Nur Shalin Alia binti Razali. She is a student of SMK Kampung Lama. How are you today, Miss Shalin?
I'm fine, thank you.
Our third panelist is Miss Wan Najna Auni binti Wan Sanali. She has graduated from University of Malaysia Sabah with Bachelor's degree of English for Communication, and she has been working as a professional tourist guide for 5 years already under Shiny Travel Agency. Thank you, Miss Najna, for being with us today. How are you today, Miss Najna? Without further ado, I would like to welcome our first panelist, Miss Siti Aisa binti Omar. The topic that she will be covering for us today is the definition and elaboration on code mixing and the factors of code mixing. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Ms. Siti Aisa binti Omar.
Thank you, Ms. Moderator. So I'll be explaining on definition of code mixing, and I would like to add a little bit of the difference between code mixing and code switching. So code mixing, based on Miriam Meyerhoff, she's the New Zealand social linguist. Meyerhoff mentioned that code mixing is an alternation between varieties of codes within a clause or phrase. So in other words, code mixing is a mixing of mostly words of two different languages in a clause, phrase, or even in a sentence. For example, in Malaysia, students or most Malaysians would code mix between English language and Malay language, right? Such as let's go makan or saya nak pergi toilet. Okay. Code switching, however, is different compared to code mixing. This is because code switching is nothing but switching from one language to another as to create a special effect. Special effect here means that code switching has its social pragmatic consequence while code mixing does not. For instance, a native Malay speaker is speaking in Malay language with her friends. All of a sudden, her American boss comes and now she starts to speak in English language with her American boss. So this code switching that happens between Malay language to English language is because to indicate in a change of other dimensions such as status relationship between people, or maybe the formality of their interaction. So code switching is often used as a cover term. Depends on the social context or conversational setting. So I think that's all for the definition and elaboration. Thank you.
So thank you, Dr. Ms. Siti Aisa, for your opinions. So to put it simple, code mixing is mixing of mostly words, but also phrases, clauses, or even complete sentences of two languages or varieties. And many people nowadays use code mixing in their daily conversations. So now, ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome our second panelist. I would like to ask a couple of questions to Ms. Nur Shalin Alia binti Razali. The first question is, should code mixing be used in class? So can I get your opinion about this question?
Thank you, Ms. Moderator, for the question. As a student, I think that code mixing should be allowed language that dominates our conversation in our daily life. So we rarely use English in our daily life when communicating, and I think that using that language might be a little bit awkward for all of us. And most of the students use code mixing because we think that it is a human nature to feel awkward when there is a lull in conversation. So to make the conversation lively and more memorable, we need to use the language that we are comfortable with. And sometimes the students are lack of confidence and knowledge to express our thoughts because that language is considered as alien language for some of us. So I think that in order to make someone understand what we tell them, we need to use the language that both of the speakers and the listeners familiar with. So that's all from me. Thank you.
So thank you for the answer, Ms. Sharon. I have another question for you. So why students are reluctant to speak fully English?
Okay, thank you again for the question. In the Star News article, the former education minister has mentioned that the students are afraid to speak in English. I believe that most of the students can relate to this statement. Sometimes we are afraid to speak in English because we are lack of confidence and we are worried that someone will mock us if we speak in that language. In addition, some people will criticize us if we make some mistake when we are talking in English. Furthermore, the students in rural area like us are not exposed to the language as much as the ones who are in the city. So for some of us, English is considered our third language. So we will feel uncomfortable to use the language. Furthermore, I don't think that we will use English outside the school when we are talking to our family members and friends. So that's why I believe that there is no need for us to use full English in school. That's all from me.
So thank you, Ms. Shawalin Alia, for your opinions. So as Ms. Shawalin already mentioned that recently Malaysian students nowadays are afraid to speak full English because of the fear and lack of confidence talking English. And especially the students in rural area are not well exposed to the English language. Okay, so now ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome our last but not least panelist. She will give us her opinions regarding to code mixing being used among Malaysians. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Ms. Wan Najda Auni binti Wan Sanazi.
Thank you, Ms. Moderator. First of all, I think that it is normal to use code mixing among Malaysians because we've been learning English as our second language since we were in kindergarten or even younger than that. So I believe with time we could finally use proper English. And this is not a culture shock or too demanding because according to the EF English Proficiency Index, in 2018, Malaysia was ranked 22nd out of 88 countries. However, in 2016, we were actually 12th. So it's kind of odd that in today's world where English is being used more and more among younger people, but our proficiency in it decreased. Interesting, isn't it?
Okay, so thank you, Ms. Najda. I have another question for you. Why Malaysians should speak in proper English language?
Well, it is not wrong to use code mixing or Manglish. However, the ability to use proper English is important, as already shown by the Malaysian education system itself, where we need to learn English since kindergarten, and then in elementary and high school, there will be assessments and tests regarding the subjects. So I would like to ask Ms. Shawalin, what do you think about the assessment?
Sometimes I think that it's hard for me.
English is hard. That's understandable, but I like to remind you that if you fail in English subject in which stands for Sucio Pelajaran Malaysia, you will not get the SPM certificate, which is a great deal. Even though you do not want to further your studies, but to get a decent job, you need to have at least a SPM certificate. Then, when you reach tertiary level, many information is in English. I quote our Prime Minister, Tun Dr. Mahathir Mohamad, English is a universal language and it is the language of knowledge. Even Japanese and Chinese people do not entirely use their languages when they study subjects like medicine, physics, chemistry, and biology in depth. They need to learn them in English because the details, information, and knowledge are in English. Then, when you are going to start your career, you would find that many job interviews are being held in English. And normally, proficiency in English is a requirement. When you finally get a job, there will be times when you need to do presentations, communicate, and even handle clients in English using the English language. I understand that not everyone is going to get involved in this sector or area, but the ability to use proper English is indeed important to every individual up to a certain extent. Thank you.
Okay, so thank you, Ms. Najda, for your opinions. So their students are required to know how to communicate in English because they need to learn the subjects in university by using the English language itself, right, Ms. Najda? Okay, so we have heard the opinions from a high school student and also from a professional tourist guide. So we'll be continuing our forum with some more opinions from the social linguist herself, Ms. Siti Aisyah, as she had done her research in this area before.
Alright, thank you once again, Ms. Moderator. So, in my opinion, I think that I would say that code mixing should not be used among Malaysians, especially students. This is because once you have habituated yourself using too much code mixing, it will be quite difficult for you to speak in English language proficiently. I'm not saying that you cannot overcome this problem, but it may take some time. And even Janet Holmes, a social linguist also, she mentioned that speakers who use code mixing too much are incompetent because the mixing words of the two different languages is not related to any social meanings of the two codes. Yes, it's true that code mixing can bring advantage to the students because it can boost up their level of confidence, right? But at the same time, it may also bring disadvantage to the ones who are seeking for job opportunities. And so once again, I would say that code mixing should not be used, or we should not get too comfortable using code mixing and try to avoid it. Okay, I think that's all.
So thank you, Ms. Siti Aisyah. Thank you very much for all the panelists for their informative and interesting talk. So we have come to the question and answer session. You can raise your hand to ask questions to one of the panelists in front of you. So any questions?
Okay, my name is Amira Speaker. I want to ask the panelists, when I speak English with my friends, they always bash me, and I want to know why. That's it. What's your friend? Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Amira Shafiqa for the question. Well, I'm a tourist guide, so I use English all the time when I work. So all I can say is that using any languages, whether Malay or English, depends on the social context and conversational settings. You use a language when it's appropriate and suitable for the situation. But I can totally relate to you because some people like to use English more, like us. So that might lead to another reason why you get bashed, which is people think you're showing off. Personally, I think it's outrageous how one's linguistic proficiency can be used as an index to measure one's intelligence or professionalism. Like, for example, you use English more than me, so you must be more educated and intelligent than me. While if I speak Malay more than you, I must be more authentically Malay than you, or more Malaysian than you. So, to answer your question, it's simply because of the people's mentality and the situation itself.
So thank you. Any more questions?
I want to ask a question to Miss Shawali. So, do you think that you will use code mixing forever?
Okay, thank you for the question. As a rural student, I think that it is normal for me to use code mixing in my school year. So I think that I will still use code mixing when communicating, but if I have the opportunity to further my studies in university, I think that I can practice my English and use full English who knows, right? So that's my answer. Thank you.
So thank you for the questions. So in conclusion, we can conclude that code mixing has both the advantages and also the disadvantages to the speakers. And it can be used as a game for students to build their confidence, and at the same time, it can also bring detriment to the job seekers who are not competent enough to speak in the English language itself. And more or less, code mixing is only one of the grounds on why Malaysians are incompetent in English language. So, ladies and gentlemen, finally we have come to the end of the forum. We would like to say thank you for all the panelists, for all the informative and interesting talk, and to the audience for active participation. Hopefully the forum will be very beneficial for everybody. Thank you for your attention. Assalamualaikum.